On New Year's Eve, as the world counted down to midnight, James Avery took his final breath, and the man who played television's greatest father figure was gone. That single moment in December 2013 cracked open the truth that most fans had quietly refused to face. The cast of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was not immortal. Behind the laugh track, behind the neon colors and the theme song we all know by heart, real people had lived real lives, and some of those lives had already ended too soon. Tonight, we honor the ones we lost, not with celebration, but with the kind of careful remembrance they deserve. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air premiered on NBC in September 1990 and ran for 6 celebrated seasons. It launched Will Smith into global superstardom, introduced the world to the Carlton dance, and gifted a generation with one of the warmest, most dysfunctional, most lovable television families ever written. But the years since 1996 have carried grief alongside nostalgia, as the extended family of Bel-Air has been diminished, one loss at a time. We begin, as we must, with James Avery, the man who was the moral spine of the entire show. Born on November 27, 1945, in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Avery came to acting through an unlikely door. He served in the United States Navy during the Vietnam War, a formative experience that gave him a gravity few actors his age possessed. By the time he was cast as Philip Banks, he was 45 years old, and every one of those years showed in the authority and warmth he brought to the role. Uncle Phil was not simply a comedic foil. He was the anchor of everything. His ability to shift from roaring disciplinarian to tender father in a single scene was a masterclass in emotional range. When he held a weeping Will Smith in his arms and whispered comfort after Will's biological father walked away, Avery wasn't performing. He was channeling something deeply human. Behind the scenes, the man who seemed so unshakable was fighting severe coronary heart disease, end-stage kidney disease, and type 2 diabetes. He underwent open heart surgery in late 2013. The procedure was meant to buy him more time. It didn't. On December 31, 2013, James Avery died in Glendale, California, at the age of 68. His co-star, Alfonso Ribeiro, said publicly that Avery had been a second father to him. The void left behind has never properly closed. Sherman Hemsley appeared on The Fresh Prince as the corrupt and loudmouthed Judge Carl Robertson, and also in crossover episodes as the iconic George Jefferson he had made famous on The Jeffersons. Hemsley was born on February 1, 1938, in South Philadelphia, a quiet and private man who channeled chaos on screen with extraordinary comedic precision. His physical comedy was electric, his timing impeccable. Off-screen, he lived alone and rarely spoke to the press about his personal life. His final years were marked by a hidden battle with lung cancer, specifically a complication known as superior vena cava syndrome, arising from lung and bronchial carcinoma. When he died on July 24, 2012, at the age of 74, the tragedy extended beyond his death. A legal dispute over his estate kept his remains unburied for months, a painful postscript to a life spent making others laugh. The courts ultimately honored his wishes, and he was laid to rest with the dignity he had always deserved. Virginia Capers appeared in 6 episodes of The Fresh Prince as Hattie Banks, Uncle Phil's outspoken mother. She was the kind of supporting actress who required only one scene to make herself unforgettable. Born in 1925, Capers was a titan of both stage and screen. She won the Tony Award in 1974 for her role as Lena Younger in the Broadway musical Raisin, an achievement that spoke to the depth of her artistry. On the show, she was wisdom wearing a warm cardigan, the grandmother who saw through everything and said so plainly. Capers died on May 6, 2004, at the age of 78, from complications caused by pneumonia. The New York Times noted her passing, and the theatrical community mourned a woman whose contributions to black performance in America spanned more than 4 decades. Robert Guillaume Guest starred in Season 4 of The Fresh Prince as Pete Fletcher, Will's car dealership boss. Guillaume was already a legend by the time he appeared on the show, widely celebrated for his Emmy-winning portrayal of the dry-witted butler Benson in both soap and its spin-off series, Benson. Born on November 30th, 1927, in St. Louis, Missouri, he carried himself with an elegant, understated authority that made even brief appearances feel significant. He survived a stroke in 1999 that partially affected his speech but returned to performing, a testament to his resilience. Guillaume died on October 24, 2017, at the age of 89, from prostate cancer complications. He left behind a body of work that redefined what black actors could achieve on American network television. Naya Rivera's connection to the Fresh Prince was brief. She appeared at just 6 years old in the Season 3 episode Bundle of Joy as Cindy, the idealized baby sister Hillary imagines for herself. It was a small role, a child's cameo, but it became a haunting footnote once the world learned who she would grow up to be. Rivera became one of the most compelling actors of her generation through her portrayal of Santana Lopez on Glee, a character who became an icon for LGBTQ audiences everywhere. On July 8, 2020, Rivera drowned in Lake Piru in California while on a boating trip with her 4-year-old son, Josie. She was 33 years old. Her son was found alone on the boat, wrapped in a towel his mother had placed around him before entering the water. Her body was recovered 5 days later. The medical examiner confirmed accidental drowning as the cause. The grief that followed was immense, not just for the person she had been, but for everything she still had left to give. Malcolm-Jamal Warner guest starred in Season 2 of The Fresh Prince as Eric Sanders, the boyfriend of Hilary Banks. It was a role that fans of The Cosby Show would have recognized instantly. Warner had spent 8 seasons playing Theo Huxtable, earning an Emmy nomination in the process and becoming one of the defining young actors of his era. Born on August 18, 1970, in Jersey City, New Jersey, Warner grew into a multifaceted talent, actor, director, and Grammy-winning musician. He was 54 years old when he died on July 20, 2025. He was on a family vacation at Playa Grande de Cocal in Limon, Costa Rica, swimming with his daughter when a rip current pulled him into deeper water. Bystanders, including surfers and a volunteer lifeguard, rushed to help. His daughter was brought safely to shore. Warner was pulled from the water and given extended CPR, but could not be revived. Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Agency confirmed the cause of death as accidental asphyxiation by submersion. The world lost him suddenly without warning on a quiet Sunday afternoon by the sea. Tributes poured in from Questlove, Jennifer Hudson, Taraji P. Henson, and dozens of others who had worked alongside him across a career that spanned more than 3 decades. Floyd Roger Myers Jr. appeared in the Season 3 Fresh Prince episode Will Gets Committed, playing a young Will Smith in a 1970s flashback. He was 9 years old at the time of filming in 1992. Myers went on to only one more acting credit before stepping away from the industry entirely, channeling his energy instead into social good. He co-founded the Fellowship Men's Group, a non-profit dedicated to emotional wellness and mental health support for men. On October 29, 2025, Myers died at his home in Maryland from a heart attack. He was 42 years old. His mother, Renee Trice, confirmed the news, noting that he had suffered 3 heart attacks over the prior 3 years. The Fellowship Men's Group posted on social media, writing, "The mission will continue in your honor." It was a fitting tribute, because even after the cameras stopped rolling, Floyd Roger Myers Jr. had spent his life trying to help people. Hugh Hefner appeared as himself in the 1993 Fresh Prince episode Fresh Prince After Dark. The Playboy founder died on September 27, 2017, at his Holmby Hills mansion at the age of 91 from cardiac arrest and respiratory failure following sepsis. Don Cornelius, the visionary creator and host of Soul Train, appeared as himself in the 1994 episode Soul Train. He died on February 1, 2012, at the age of 75, in a manner that was ruled a suicide. Isaac Hayes, the legendary composer and performer who officiated Will and Lisa's wedding in the Season 4 finale, died on August 10th, 2008, at the age of 65, after being found unresponsive at his home. The cause was determined to be a stroke. What this roll call of loss ultimately reveals is something both beautiful and heartbreaking. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was never simply a sitcom. It was a living community of extraordinary people who passed through the same halls, shared the same lights, and left pieces of themselves embedded in the memories of millions of viewers. We remember the show for its laughter. We must also remember it for the people who made that laughter possible, some of whom are no longer here to hear how often we still quote their lines and replay their scenes. The house on the hill in Bel-Air stands eternal in reruns. But the ones who filled it with life are finite. That is what makes their presence and their absence so worth honoring. Good night to all of them. You were more than characters, you were family.